Hi everyone, this is Abrar. Welcome to Abrar Knowledge channel. Today we are going to see 10 interesting and mind-boggling facts, part 7. Just to give you brush up on part 6, which we saw. In part 6 we saw three things, three different facts. Number one, Prime Minister of Australia, and then we also talked about the presidents of US. There is a 1 century difference between 1860 and 1960, and what is each country has its own legislations when it comes to names. This is the thing which we saw in part 6. Now let's see what part 7 is all about. The part 7 is very interesting, which is going to unfold in three things. One is called animal anatomy, which I have brought up three things which we are going to discuss, and then human anatomy, and then general facts or general knowledge about general things. So this is the combination which we are going to discuss. So I picked up from the book called The Fun Knowledge Encyclopedia. This is by Bell Neil. I'm just this is volume 2, by the way, and this is going to be very interesting. Please stay tuned. I've also picked up few references from volume 3, which I'm going to unfold in upcoming series as such. So the first thing is about ostrich. Yeah, so I can see but can't think. Maybe that's a theme of that subject. Maybe I'll use the pointer. An ostrich is a big bird, right? You all know that how ostrich is a big bird. It seems the size is not always going to be everything, right? In fact, the ostrich has a rather unfortunate size problem that is having detrimental impact on its ability to have a better life or longer life. You see, while you may be impressed with the size of its wing, size of its body, size of the length, I mean legs, and even its neck. If you look deeper, deep inside, you will not be able to appreciate or impress. The thing is, the reason for that is because the brain of the ostrich is smaller than its eyes. You can imagine that the size of the eyes is this much, and the brain of the ostrich is this much, is smaller than that. So all account makes things pretty dumb animal also as well. So this is the facts about ostrich. Let's talk about a crocodile. Very interesting. A long time to hold your breath. We human are generally not that good at holding our breath. We all know. More than 2 minutes we can't do that. We are certainly nowhere near as good as some of our animals hold like relatives. For example, take an example of crocodile as a primary example. They are not only expert at catching their prey, but also they are expert in huge amount of patience they have. That patience, it is also known that in the form of crocodile has the ability to sit underneath the surface of the water and holds his breath for 2 hours at a time while it is waiting for its prey. This is really amazing. Let's talk about fact number 3. Is my favorite because the subject is cat. A cat doesn't have a sweet tooth. Cats are known for being rather particular when it comes to knowing what they like to eat, but it seems it is not all going to be decided by themselves. Instead, nature works against them from time to time. That then ultimately leads to them having to make certain decision as to what taste they prefer. Now we'll talk about that strange thing. We all know that they go absolutely insane for certain things such as catnip, and but to give your cat some sugar, it is going to look at you in this strange way. Why? Because well, it turns out that cats do not have a sweet taste buds. So therefore they have no idea what, even if they try to, even if you impose them, and if they try to take sugar, they will not appreciate it because they don't have a sweet buds in them, so they will not be able to recognize it. So anything sweet actually tastes like, as they cannot appreciate in the same way. So if you own a cat, the best advice is sticks to the salty and meaty things, and they're going to love you more than anything. So fact, now we are hopping to human anatomy, right? So from animal anatomy to human anatomy. The facts number 4. So it's all about blood vessels. That's a lot of blood vessels. Everybody knows that we need blood in order to survive, right? If the blood is exhausted, that means we'll not be able to survive. It flows around our body via there is something called intricate roadmap of blood vessels that looks rather impressive when you see it from the medical diagram, medical perspective. But then, do you know how far your blood vessels would stretch if they are laid down end to end? Rather surprisingly, they would stretch for a total 60,000 miles, which means they would wrap around the world twice. Yeah, that's the beauty. That's amazing how our body God has created. So, fact number 5 about eyes. You will obviously be familiar with the fact that human beings grow physically from the moment we born, right? And even after we stop growing in height, our ears and nose continue to just keep on going until the day we die. However, it is not all like that in our body. You'd expect that as we get bigger, as we get older, we need everything in our body to increase in size as we develop. For the most part, that is true. For the most part, that is true. The only organ or the only part of the body where that doesn't apply in is our eyes, because rather surprisingly they stay the same size from the moment we born till the day we, I mean, the eye size are same. When you see a next when you happen to see a baby and are amazed at the size of it staring back at you, just remember that they are not going to get any bigger, and it is just down to our head getting bigger, and that is appears as our eyes adjust accordingly. So anatomy, and one more things, facts about DNA. The human body is amazing in the in is the thing is it seems to be able to contain within it just do not make any sense whatsoever. Take your DNA as an example. Your DNA is like in a coil, right? But what happens if you uncoil them, if you unfold them, uncoil them, then stretch out all DNA that in your body, how far do you think would be able to stretch? That's a question. And the DNA is actually around 8.5 centimeter long, and yet it is able to be packed into small space. You cannot see without kind of some assistance, microscope and all that. If you then unpack or unwind or unpack all your DNA, it means it would stretch an absolutely staggering 744 million miles. So look at this, 744 miles. It is just encompasses in 8.5 centimeter long, right? That's a tiny thing. To put into some kind of perspective, that means that is roughly the same as from the earth to the planet Saturn, and that is hardly the kind of place that you could just walk to. Now think about how it is even possible for all of that is contained inside your body, right? So it's such a huge one. If you unstretch it, it goes on and on and on, and it is just put it up in 8.5 centimeter. It just nicely packed. The guard has created a nicely packed in 8.5 centimeter. So now the next one is taste. Very interesting. Again from the human anatomy. Tasting faster than we can see. Taste is a sense which is faster than eyes. Let's talk about that. We always amazed by what our body is able to achieve, the speed at which it can do various things. But this next fact is going to make you wonder or make you mind boggling, and what else it may be capable of achieving. You might think that one of the fastest thing that our body can do is for our eyes to blink, even though it is indeed fast, but there are number of things that can beat it. One such feat actually our ability to taste things, because it is shown that our body can identify taste in 0.0015 seconds. We are talking about milliseconds here, okay, in which you have to admit that how seriously it is impressive it is. And then this is a general one, so upcoming three things are very general one. Your shoes better be made for walking. There are few crazy statistics connected to human beings that are always thrown at thrown up at the random times. These statistics or these stats are able to show you the kind of things that we get up to our life without even really being aware of it all. So one thing is, what is the crazy statistic at this point? Well, the title should be perhaps give it away more because it is all about walking, right? So according to some rather clever people that have a thought about it, if the average human being does enough walking during their lifetime or lifespan to have walked around the world 3 times, that is in itself impressive, pretty impressive one, especially when you hardly feel that if you have done that is a total sneaks up on you on a daily basis. So that's we just the entire lifetime we just walk around 3 times the entire world. That much of walking we do, right? So fact number 9 is very funny and interesting. Let me read it. So decision. Have you ever been in the situation where you are undecided what to do, what to choose, what to say between two options? If so, then you may have very well have decided to put it down to chance and flip it a coin. So you have it like two choice you have. Then one of the options we probably do is flip a coin. You choose heads for one option, tail for another one. It seems a fair way to settle things once for all, right? However, spare a thought for an English composer by the name of Jeremiah Clare. Poor Jeremiah had decided that he was going to commit suicide. But as he stood at the side of the lake, he was unable to decide if he would do so by either hanging himself or going into the water or drowning. So, due to the dilemma, what he did, he felt that the best thing to do was to go ahead and flip a coin. So the outcome, the outcomes a coin. He decided which options is going to which side. So he stands on the mud and at the side. Basically the person stands on the mud side. He tosses the coin. No, he tosses the coins in the air. Now this sounds fair. It would lead to one decision winning. Either the probability is he will 50-50. He would get head or tail. But what happened here, one decision winning over the other, but it didn't, but actually in this case it didn't. What happened, unfortunately, the poor old Jeremiah, then the person name, the coin landed on the edge of the mud, straight perpendicular. So meaning the mud, meaning it failed to land on the either side, it just landed this side. For most people, they would either decide, okay, so he wanted to commit a suicide, he just came to riverside, and then he also come to this said a lake, and he just toss up a coin, and then it landed up is very straight. For most people, they would rather decided that this was a sign that killing themselves was a bad idea, do it again. So however what he did, he decided against doing both. So he what he did, he went home and shot himself. So that's one of the weird facts about it. The last one is make you slightly shock, yeah, and it is just to give you awareness. Can you trust a doctor? Rhetorical, very question, very important question. Can you trust a doctor? A kind of running joke is that you don't only need brain and intelligence to be a doctor, but you also need a horrific bad writing handwriting. However, it may be more problem than you perhaps aware. According to statistics, it is believed that poor handwriting of a doctor result in the death of approximately 7,000 people in the United States each year. 7,000 in each year. We are talking about only United States. That is itself is a very saddening, right? It makes you wonder about the way in which they end up dying. Wrong medications, the wrong amount, wrong prescription, not getting the correct treatment, all because the root cause, all because seems to have a natural habit of unable to write in a style that is able to read by anybody else. No, the doctor reads, only the medical people who supplies the medicine, only they can read it, right? Perhaps the next time, the suggestion, recommendation, perhaps the next time you go to the doctor, you should ask for them to type it out, so that you just to be on the safe side. So that was one of the other things. So this is the summary of which we talked about from this book. We talked about ostrich, how ostrich has got a smallest brain, smaller than its eyes. We talked about it. And crocodile can hold the breath for and looking for the prey and all that. It can hold for more than 2 hours at once. Cat, they do not have sweet tooth buds, so do not give any sweet things, give only salty or meaty things. Our blood vessels has got an amazing thing, 60,000 miles. Our, if you stretch out 8.6 centimeter, if you stretch out, that much it is. So and then we talked about eyes, they do not grow from the till born to death, it is the same size. When then we talked about the DNA. So okay, DNA of 8.5 centimeter. If you stretch out, the same like blood vessels, if you stretch out, it goes on 744 miles, staggering. And then test faster than you I blink, right? 0.0015. Decision, we talked about an author. We talked about now he wanted to commit a suicide. He went to lakeside, he just tossed up a coin, and then it coin didn't fall, either he didn't give a result of head or tail. So again he was desperate, he just went home and shot himself. So the last the walking around, so generally the human being, generally we walk around 3 times in the world, so that much of walking we do. So if you take in consideration of the whole lifespan, the doctor handwriting, due to that there is a lot of incorrect prescription, incorrect medications, all this happen. So this is statistic only for US, 7,000 per year due to wrong prescription and all that. So the recommendation is you ask doctor to type it out, so that you will be in the safe side. So I hope this 10 interesting and mind-boggling facts you just came across today. Please do comment if you want me to cover any other things, any other area. And wish you have a happy new year. And also my best wishes that whatever you, please learn it. And learning is something which doesn't get end. Learning, the curve goes on and on and on, like infinity curve, it goes on. So I wish you all the best and happy reading and happy gaining the knowledge. Please do like, share, subscribe my channel. Have a nice day ahead.